Hi, it's Ben and Adela. Thank you for joining us for another special episode. This week, we introduced Nikki Vandenberg, a master's student on exchange in WA for 6 months from the Netherlands. Initially, she arrived here in December of 2019 and finished up her exchange in May of 2020 this year. Since then, Nikki has been exploring Australia, making her way from WA to the Northern Territory over to Queensland.
We initially pre-recorded this episode way back in March before COVID and the lockdown, and it's just been sitting in the cyberspace drawer. So we're glad we're able to present it to you all so you can hear about Nikki's refreshing outlook on life, studies, and travel. She proves that you can have your cake and eat it too. Enjoy. Today, we are mixing things up a bit.
And we've dragged someone in from the lab, of course, not off the streets.
And she's very special to us. She's on exchange from the Netherlands and a master's student finishing up her thesis, working on an important biomarker study on the Bosselton cohort. Correct me if I'm wrong, but introducing Nikki Vandenberg. Woo!
Well, thanks for your introduction, Adela.
I hope it was quite accurate.
Yeah, you did well. So I'm a master's student, and I'm finishing up my master's here by doing my internship here for 6 months. So I've been here since December, and I will be here for the next few months.
Yeah. I think 6 months, we've talked about this a few times. You've been here for 6 months and you've been to like Rottnest Island like 5 times, and I've been here most of my life and I still haven't made it down there. So it's interesting how you've already done so much in such a small amount of time.
Yeah, she's definitely seen a lot of WA in a short amount of time. I think even a bit more than me. I'll probably be asking you for tips on where to go.
No, she's been down to Jurien, up to Jurien Bay and things like that, which is really exciting. But I guess first question is, what can you tell everyone what you're working on more specifically?
So what you're saying. So we're working with samples from the Bosselton cohort, and these are samples from 1994, so the year when I was born.
Oh.
And we have the medical records of those patients from the last 20 years. So we're looking into like new biomarkers to see if we have like a correlation to their medical status and more their cardiovascular health. And if we could do something with that for like better treatment or something like that.
Diagnosis opportunities and things. That sounds like
a futuristic sort of stuff.
Yeah. Using the retrospective study to perhaps look into our future. That's very innovative.
Especially because we now have 930 samples, and we have from all those samples we have the follow-up from 20 years. So I think it's a very unique study to be involved in.
Definitely.
So in the scheme of things, are you doing a little bit of lab work, a little bit of data sort of work? Like how do you keep track of all this?
Yeah, so a few weeks back we did a full week of lab work. So we did ELISAs in order to find out the amount of CMV in the blood samples that we had.
Silly question. What exactly is an ELISA?
So it is a technique in the lab to recover the concentrations. Well, it's a bit hard to explain what exactly you're doing.
In simple ways, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've just not personally done one. So I wasn't sure. And I'm sure there are people out there.
Yeah. You're sort of working with antibodies to find out how much of something is in a certain sample.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then a machine reads like the labeled antibodies in order to see like how much is really in there.
I see Ben's quickly opened up
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
It's a bit hard to.
Do you want to add anything
yeah.
on to what Nikki's just said,
Yeah,
Ben?
I couldn't remember the acronym for it, but it's enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. I've had little experience with ELISAs myself. I remember it's as Nikki's already described, it's an antigen-antibody reaction. So you have an antigen of interest. You use your specific antibodies to look at it, and you detect, once detected, emit a fluorescent or fluorophore, which is detected by.
So on the antibody, there's sort of a label, and the machine can pick up on the label that's on there.
All right. And I've heard it's quite an intensive all-day kind of procedure.
It was quite intense. Yeah, we were both quite sore after the week, so I did it together with somebody else in the lab here, and we're quite happy when it was done. 930 samples is quite much. I think we had something like 78 plates, or
was it like a pipetting game? 900 and something samples on to go.
Make
that
a
was
song
terrible.
and dance out of it. No, you had to.
We did do a lot of pipetting. I think I'm very good at it now.
Lots of practice.
I have a question for you, Nikki. I mean, that's an amazing study, an opportunity, especially on such a large cohort. I mean, how do you? This is probably from a different angle. I mean, these samples are very rare. Like coming from 1994, I'm sure that puts a tremendous amount of pressure on you. I mean,
to not mess it up.
I mean, I guess I can ask you now, since you already started to go through it a bit. How did you feel then? How are you feeling now about it going forward?
Well, I didn't have too much experience in the lab yet, so I was mainly excited because I came here to do more lab work to see if I liked it and stuff. So I think this is a really good opportunity for me to do that. But I was sort of afraid that I would mess things up. But luckily, Sylvia was there to help me a lot and to see if everything was going well. And then again, like, we're all people, everybody messes up sometimes, I guess. So as long as you try to see where you made a mistake.
Yeah. No, on that note, some of this equipment that you use is very expensive, right? So
I know.
It puts on that added pressure.
Yeah.
So it's pressure samples, very expensive equipment.
Yeah.
And I think you did really well.
I hope so.
Did you sign anything when you arrived? You know, we'll have to track you, chase you up if anything. No.
Send you the bill. And then I think both of you could agree that one thing people don't really tell you about research is how extensive the spreadsheet is to keep track of all these samples and the results. So with 900 and plus samples, how have you found? I've seen some of your spreadsheets; they go on for days.
So, and we actually yesterday they gave us back like the analysis of the CMV and all. They took in the medical history, and they took that in a sort of I don't know exactly what they did, but they sent us back like 287 pages of results.
Oh, and who has to look through all these?
Well, I think Sylvia, maybe together with me.
Yeah.
Wow, that's your reading for the next few months sorted, it sounds like.
That's crazy. Unbelievable.
Something out there.
I think they're making sort of an abstract out of that, and they'll send that in.
Right. We didn't say this, but what was your previous background like? What was your master's in?
So my master's is called human biology. It's like, it's very broad. So you can do like all different sorts of ways. But my last internship I did at the hospital back home. And we worked with patients who had a myocardial infarction. And we looked at how their physical activity in the week before the infarction infected the site of the infarction. So cool. I already did some in the cardiovascular area, and that's how I came like here. To Girish. Because they do a lot of cardiovascular stuff here, and I wanted to do a bit more in the area of endocrinology, so a bit more hormones, stuff in the blood, and
You basically ticked all those boxes with this particular case you're
and
working
do
on.
more lab work. So that's I think it's a good follow up on what I was doing and to see like have more practical experience and stuff like that. So
For sure.
yeah.
And I guess on a more positive note, when obviously this lab work is very intensive, there's a lot to do, there's those spreadsheets. How do you balance your time being in like a new country as well? What have you been doing with the rest of your time?
Well, I've been trying to get sort of a I don't know, sort of a regular thing going on. So I try to go do some exercise every week, and in the weekends I don't know, go on weekend trips, or just go. I don't know. I'll do lots of stuff. It's just every
you've
week
done
is
a
very
lot.
different.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But
you
I
did
just do
something-
want to do a lot of stuff while I'm here.
You did something really cool last week.
Yeah, I went swimming with the sea lions over at Jurien
In
Bay.
Jurien Bay.
Yeah.
And I saw some of those videos. It looked, I have to admit, I would be scared because all animals scare me, but I think you look like you had a fun time.
No, it was really cool. They were really playful. And those are like things that I could never do back home. So I just want to be sure that I did those things and not regret it, that I've been here and not do the things that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's also why I've been to quite some places here already.
Yeah, we need to pick up our game, Ben.
Yeah.
We need to get around.
We need to get a list of where you've been and top
Tick
it.
them off.
Work on
Top
it.
it off.
And what are you going to do? I guess you've got a couple of months till this is kind of over. What are your plans for after?
So after I've finished here, I'll do a road trip up north because I've mainly seen the south and at the west coast, of course. And then I'll go to Bali and come back to Australia because I haven't seen enough.
Like a true West Aussie.
Are you going back to West Australia, or are you going to go see over east?
I'm gonna go see the East Coast, see how it's there, and if I like it, and maybe come back to Perth after a while. But we'll see.
So sounds like there's a bit of a plan, but you're kind of gonna wing it and see how you go
I'll
as
just
well.
see how it goes. Like a few friends will come and visit me, so I have to sort of plan around that. But otherwise, I'm just I just
traveling.
Yeah, I just wanted to have some time off, like really without really studying, working. Well, I am gonna work just at different without thinking too much, I guess. Yeah.
It sounds like you need a good break after finishing.
I think that's probably a good thing. And then also because I'm not really sure what I want to do after. So I think it's good to have some time to think about stuff like that.
Not too long though, because then you probably wouldn't want to go back and do anything.
Well, yeah. For now, my idea is to do maximum of a year and then see where I want to start working and what I want to do. And
I think that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah,
You've got obviously a lot behind you with your human bio degree, your hospital experience, now your lab work and animal study experience as well.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to just pick which one you enjoy the most, and
I guess
and mash them all up together somehow.
Yeah.
That's also why I want to do so many different things. Like I did some behavioral studies with animals, and then I worked with patients in the hospital, and now more lab work. So I just wanted to make sure that I've seen everything to make a well decision which field I want to go, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think you've done very well, very proactive, and really took charge of your career, which I think a lot more young people or even people in general could do more of, really. If you think you need to change from your job or if you're not sure what your options are, I think,
take a chance and jump at an opportunity. I think many of us probably go through our degrees, especially in undergraduate more so than postgrad. You sort of just cruise through it, and you sort of loosely have a career in mind when you pick it, but otherwise you stick to it. You just sort of get a bit complacent with where you are, and
hope you get somewhere that ends up as a job and you get paid, and kind of that's the end of that. But whether you really enjoy a job or not, sometimes for some people could be another story.
Exactly.
I do think also because like now I'm abroad it's so different from back home, and I think that's really valuable to see how things are going somewhere else, and also makes you think about where you want to work later, which field, like if you want to stay in your own country, work somewhere else. And I think it's also valuable to have that on your resume, that you've seen different places, worked with different people.
For sure. I can't remember where I picked this up from, but there's a saying where more like an analogy. So we're all sort of toolboxes and we kind of collect things along the way. So you kind of go, all right, what tools can I add to my toolbox to make me more competitive in a job or just be an all-round better person? So I think that's kind of what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
This is interesting when you bring that up, choosing where you want to work even. Now you've sort of had a little bit of experience here, maybe asking a bit prematurely, but I guess this might be a question of how much do you like Australia, enjoying Australia at the moment? Would you consider working here compared to at home?
Yeah, so if I would have an opportunity to work here,
she's going to take our jobs. Probably. There's barely any jobs in research as it is here. No, I'm kidding.
I would probably be happy to work here. Like, it would be a big step, of course. If it would be nice if Australia was a bit closer to home, so it's a bit easier to go back and forth. But then again, I really like the loads of sunshine here. So that's really a plus.
You come at a good time, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's still pretty sunny in winter, I think, as well.
And there's just loads to do here, and it's so pretty everywhere. So no, I definitely would consider, if I could find something here, I would definitely consider to work here.
You heard it first here. Australia's in the cards.
The place to be.
Yes.
I guess to sort of wrap everything together, do you have maybe some words of advice to students or people who might be in the same boat and, looking to do other things or just students in general about maybe, things like getting out of their comfort zone and things like that?
So, at first I was kind of hesitant to do this because you sort of build on your life back home. Like, you have your friends. Well, I had a horse. Like, I had my boyfriend there and stuff. And I think those things always keep you in this your safe spot. But I feel like once you go out of there, you can experience so much more, and then you can look back on, was that really the life that I wanted, or do you maybe want something else? So I feel like it's always good, even though you're maybe sort of scared to do things, like, think out of your comfort zone, because I feel like there's so much more than you think there is. I would really recommend to go somewhere. It doesn't even have to be far. Like, for me, it's I was like, well, if I go abroad, I'll just go to the other end of the world. But that's fine. But you can always go to, like,
Rottnest Island for me for a start. I'll
just
watch this space.
Look up a bit closer, but just
take a step out of the box.
Just go out and just somewhere. Or even go study in a different city, like people who want to go studying and are staying at home with their parents. Of course, you can do that, but I feel like if you go somewhere else, it might open some things for you too.
Exactly.
Or at least try it. Like, you can always go back. It's not the end of the world if you have tried it and like, oh, this is not for me. You can still go back.
Especially because you're still so young as well. It's not like a permanent decision.
No. And even like if I would start and working here and I wouldn't like it, I still can go back. It's not that you're trapped here.
Forever.
Yeah.
Wait, is that what they
maybe
told
with
you?
the coronavirus now it is.
Yeah, you really are trapped now. No, I think that's some really good advice. And also, to build on that, don't be scared to be alone, because you literally left everyone you knew and came to a strange place by yourself and made new friends.
Yeah, there are like so many like-minded people. Especially Australia, there are so many travelers. So I feel like a lot of people. I think there are so many Aussies who aren't really Aussies either. So
we're very multicultural.
Multicultural. So I feel like it shouldn't be a problem. And if you're just open to have other people in your life, why not? Make good experiences.
Some
Sounds
words
like-
to live by.
Yeah.
I like that.
Sounds like this has become your home away from home.
Yeah, I like
sort
it.
of. Yeah.
No, thank you so much for joining us, Nikki. I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll hear more
You're
about some of
welcome.
the stuff you're working on in the next couple of months.
Yeah,
and
maybe we'll have to get you back in for one last
Yeah,
episode
before I
before
leave
you
again.
fly off, if they do let you fly off. If we let you fly off, I mean.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
We recently reached out to Nikki and she has kindly submitted a voice message highlighting her recent travels around Australia and her feelings about returning home to the Netherlands in a few weeks. We'll play that for you shortly, but that's it from us this week.
Well, I started traveling and now I'm almost at the end of my traveling. But I first did whole WA and I think my highlight was there, Karanjini. It's just so beautiful and so many nice trails and walks, and it's just something like I've never seen before. Then we went to Northern Territory, which was also nice, but very dry. And then over to Queensland, which was very nice, different scenery, a lot of green places, rainforest. And I did my first dive. I jumped out of an airplane and did so many more things. Went to drive on Fraser Island in the loose sand, which was also really fun. Yeah, I think there's just too much things to look back onto, but I think for the most thing what I learned about my trip is I learned some things about myself, and I met so many nice and different people, and how to deal with different people, I guess. And yeah, so the trip has almost come to an end. I'm now actually looking forward to going home, seeing friends and family back home. But it was definitely the right decision for me, especially with the whole COVID thing, because a lot of people back home couldn't really do much. And I was just able to do everything I wanted. So I'm so happy that I got this opportunity. And yeah, I wish Ben and Adila good luck with their podcast.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode and hearing about Nikki's experiences. If you needed a sign to get out there and do something, this is it.
So tune back next week where we talk all things food habits, procrastination, and how we stay motivated and productive on this crazy ride. We'd love to have you back. We'll see you then, and thanks for tuning in.
If you'd like to get involved, drop us your questions and your queries. Let us know what you'd like to hear on the show. And you can find us on our Instagram at SoYouThinkYouCanPhD. And there's a link to our email there as well.